The Minnesota Vikings only had a couple of picks in the 2025 draft. So, how do they end up doing? My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we are going to be breaking down the Minnesota Vikings 2025 draft class. But before we do that, Ryan is getting married here in a couple of weeks. So, send him an early wedding day present by hitting that subscribe button, tackling that bell, and leaving a like and a comment. Let us know what you think of the Vikings draft class. Now, Ryan, let's pull up the draft here. So, starting off with the first round, a guy that we really liked, really praised for all of what he did for Ohio State in their national championship year, guard who moved out to left tackle this season after Josh Simmons went down, Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State. Then they ended up trading back in I feel like that was a fourth round pick when they got Tai Felton, but I could be
It
mistaken
was
on
a
that. But
compensatory third.
that's what it was. They did trade
Yeah,
back, but they were still in there. So yeah. So Tai
yeah.
Felton, receiver out of Maryland, really fun player to watch. We were right the entire time. PFF had him like ranked like 200th, and we're like that's not going to happen. So then edge rusher out of Georgia in the fifth round, Tyrone Ingram-Dawkins. Then linebacker Kobe King from Penn State, and then wrapping up their draft with just 5 picks, tight end Gavin Bartholomew out of Pittsburgh. So only a couple picks here. The Vikings have been very active in free agency, and that's going to be something that we touch on here in a little bit. But I really like what they did with their first pick overall. I think they got a very versatile offensive lineman too, and getting that I think is important for their young quarterback overall. I like Tai Felton. I think he's just really good depth. Fantasy wise, it's going to suck for Tai Felton overall, just being in that room. But Ryan, what are your thoughts overall on the Minnesota Vikings draft?
So I like the players. My biggest issue here is just the strategy. They had 4 picks coming into the draft, and I love Donovan Jackson. I think he's a fantastic offensive lineman, and this is probably about where he was going to go. But you look at the packages that the next 2 picks got with the Texans and then the Rams. I'm sorry, but if you're the Vikings, you'd need those picks. Like I felt it would have been much wiser to trade down. I'm sure if teams were calling the Texans and the Rams to potentially make a move down, I'm sure they were also calling the Vikings. And so I think it would have been wiser to make the move down. You could have gotten a left guard. Jonas Savanaia went in the second round. I really liked him. Let's see. Tate Rutledge went in the second round. Charles Grant went in the third. Like there were a lot of other really talented offensive linemen. Wyatt Milam also went in the third. There were a lot of other really talented offensive linemen that I felt if they had just moved down, they would have been able to make 2 or 3 more picks, potentially added a day 1 or day 2 pick in the 2026 draft, which is supposed to be a better draft class. And ultimately, that's my biggest gripe with this draft class is just the fact that they passed up that for an interior offensive lineman. So I love Donovan Jackson. He was one of my favorite interior guys in this class. I don't fault them for picking him. It's just you look at 25, pick 25 and pick 26 and what those picks received in return. And I struggle to look at that value and be like, well, I'd rather have Donovan Jackson. And it's like, I don't know if I can truly make a case for that. I like Tai Felton. He was one of my favorite like day 2 receivers throughout this process. Ingram-Dawkins is a good edge rusher from Georgia. Kobe King, Gavin Bartholomew. I think those are both good developmental guys at their respective positions. So that's my big gripe. They only made 2 day 1 and day 2 picks, and I think they were good players, but I would have loved to see them move back, make 3 or 4 selections there, and then move on, and then go from there.
Yeah, it's so just to counter your point, it's hard for me to criticize a team here for because they don't know what they could have gotten in the future, but they know Donovan Jackson was there at that moment. And
Yeah,
also too, if you combine it what they've done in the free agency now, it's like they found their center in Ryan Kelly from Indianapolis, found their right guard Will Fries Will Freeze. I'm not sure, is it Fries or Freeze? Doesn't matter. That's
it
beside the
doesn't
point.
matter.
But
They know who
but
you're talking about.
yeah, but then and so the one gaping spot that they still had was left guard. And if you're looking at somebody who is extremely versatile, somebody that we had praised kind of all off season about like how like great this guy really is. Like if you go like yes, PFF his numbers might be bad, but it's because it's relative to him playing left tackle, and he's not a tackle; he's a guard. But it shows his versatility, his overall strength as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And when you have JJ McCarthy coming back in there now, and you go look at how Kevin O'Connell wants to run this offense, they now have Christian Darrisaw left tackle, Donovan Jackson left guard, Ryan Kelly center, Will Fries at right guard, and Brian O'Neill at right tackle. They all of a sudden now just have one of the better offensive lines, in my opinion. Like if these guys can stay
Y-
healthy in the league. So I can maybe fault them for like not having the draft picks, like they traded for Cam Robinson, and then there was a couple other trades I'm trying to remember, like, and they were trying to win now.
Yeah.
It makes sense, like you go and sacrifice that, but with the moves that they've made so far, then you go and add Donovan Jackson. Like to me, I will give this grade like a little bit less just because of the lack of picks, and like they gave up a third for Christian Robinson, and then who they give the second up for? Who was the second pick? They gave up a
Um,
second round pick for. I'm blanking on it. I'll look it up here in a second. But they did give up some of those picks now. But that being said, though, too,
did
I
they
look at
did
it.
they trade it to move up in the draft last year to get was it Dallas Turner?
They might have, yeah,
That might have been it.
that might have been it. But so if I go look at this, I go look at then how Brian Flores runs this defense and how they are a like hard nosed, like we're just going to run it, like we're going to blitz you like before you can even get the ball off. Like combine that then too, then you go look at what this offense is becoming. I I like the move. Like I think they fit like the one kind of big need that they hadn't really addressed overall. Now
mhm.
I think one area where I will fault them on is they lost a lot in the secondary. Cam Bynum moved on. And then there's somebody else too as well um, that I might be missing overall. Da, 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 da. 'Cause I know I thought somebody else did end up moving.
I'm uh was it a safety? I don't know. I
Go ahead and continue with your point while I
Oh,
was
it
finishing.
was a safety, but that was another thing too that I felt they just needed more selections because I felt they definitely drafted like positions of need. Maybe Tai Felton wasn't a position of need, but that if you're going by best player available, then I think he was in that conversation. But yeah, they didn't really address the secondary. Stephon Gilmore left
Stephon
also.
Gilmore.
Uh,
That's who. So
but
he's still a free agent as of right now. But so
yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. And that's where like the lack of picks I think might have hurt them. That being said, though, too, we've talked about this going back to the Brian Flores point. This is the point I remember now I was going to make is they are so aggressive. It does take pressure off of the secondary at
yeah,
times, like because they just need to be in their spots just for a couple extra seconds.
yeah.
You know
I
what I mean?
that was another thing, just the lack of secondary drafted in this draft class, especially too when I felt that there was a sweet spot at the like middle to end of third and early fourth round. That if they had moved around, they would have been able to acquire a lot more picks in those areas. And so then like I would feel a lot better about this draft if they moved down, drafted Wyatt Milam in the middle of the second, and then also added Noel Williams and then a safety on day three.
Yeah,
Like I would have felt better about it. And so like for that reason, they've only made 5 picks. I love Donovan Jackson. I just felt that the best move for the organization would have been to acquire more picks. I'm going to give this draft a D. My average grade is a C. And so I'm going to go with a below average grade for them. Not because I don't like the players. I just felt that they didn't necessarily do the best thing for the franchise, and that was go and acquire more picks with the 24th pick and build up the depth of this roster.
yeah. So I'll give it a C plus. I think getting Donovan Jackson to me is good. And then I will say so that's just for the draft. But if I'm looking at the free agency as a whole and what they've done and how aggressive they've been, like they
Y-
lost some guys in secondary, yes, but they really I think the main priority is like we got to protect JJ McCarthy. And I would honestly give them as a free agency like a B plus A minus because they
Yeah,
really addressed the interior. They really beefed up that area. They've got the weapons for him there overall. And even to Tai Felton, like I think if Tai Felton can pan out, imagine this receiving set of Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and then Tai Felton. And I think all those guys can kind of play in the slot. All those guys can kind of move around as well. Not one's a pure X guy, not one is a pure slot guy as well. So I think you can get really creative overall with it. And I know they have Jalen Naylor there, and I know they signed Rondell Moore as well in free agency. But like I think Tai Felton's in there is in that spot now to compete for that third overall receiver spot. And I just like what they've done with this offense overall. So draft class
yeah,
wise, like to me, I really like the Donovan Jackson pick. And I think Tai Felton's going to he's going to have opportunities to even raise the floor in that receiving room even more. So that's right to me. I'm going to go C plus. It's more the lack of picks that they kind
Yeah.
of traded away to try and go and win that's going to affect it. But I thought like with Donovan Jackson alone, I think is going to help out a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and I have no doubt he's going to help out a lot. I just if you're selling me on Donovan Jackson and nothing else, I would rather have the Wyatt Milam plus 2 secondary guys pick.
Yeah.
Like that would be my take. And that's obviously a lot of assumptions going into that thought, but it's only a 10-minute video, so we have to make some assumptions here. So with that being said, let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you thought of the Vikings 2025 draft class. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? None of that. We'll see you guys next time.